With just 2 rounds left and 1 championship all squared, it makes sense to up the ante. So tonight, we take the plane from Austria down to Italy and to what this commentator calls one of the best tracks for sports car racing. As tonight, the Race Anywhere World Series heads to Imola, live here on Absolute Sim Racing. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig King. With me on the mic and the cameras once again is Daniel Hanover. And tonight we're here at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. Originally named the Autodromo Dino Ferrari after Enzo's son, the track bared his name following his passing. And really, the only changes have been minor safety changes over the years, basically chicanes and making the corners safer and the barriers. And nowadays it's 4.9 kilometers long, 19 turns. It used to be one of the favorite places to go to for Formula One back in the 2000s and the 90s for the San Marino Grand Prix. And it returned in 2020 after a 13-year break, much of the purists and, of course, myself. Now, while the track can be remembered for that fantastic battle between Alonso and Schumacher, we have to remember that tragic weekend in 1994. Not only did we lose Ayrton Senna, we lost Roland Ratzenberger. I know it's Senna Siemper, but I always remember Roland. So we lost those two on this track. So it always holds a special place to the motorsport fan. So while it's not been used for 13 years, this track has been used for World Superbikes, GT World Series, European Le Mans Series, and of course the Ferrari Challenge, because why wouldn't it be? It's an Italian track. You have to have the Ferrari Challenge. Daniel, we could be crowning a new amateur champion tonight. The Pro and the Pro-Am titles, though, are still up for debate. I think it's safe to say, though, out of all the tracks we've seen, I think at this crucial part of the season, Imola's the perfect track for right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, certainly so. We were talking about this last week, weren't we, at Red Bull Ring? This is very much a track that you've got... this could be a very, very pivotal moment. Last week was actually could have also been a very pivotal moment for some people as well. But obviously, stakes are continuing to rise with these final couple of rounds to go. I'm very much looking forward to it, as always. And it's going to be a good race. Imola's a very interesting track for these. I feel it suits these cars really, really well as well. The GT3 cars really like it through here. When you actually watch the likes of, F1 race around here and as such, they're just so fast. This track is, and most tracks now in Formula One, they're just so short because the cars simply go around so fast. These, in the GT3 car, imagine you've got you've got more time to enjoy the circuit, I think, per lap.
Oh, I just love it. I mean, you just look at the sights, you look at the corners, the opening section, Tamburello, Villeneuve into Tosa, a combination. I say that you can never make an overtake into Tosa unless the guy in front makes a mistake at Villeneuve. And then you've got Acqua Minerale, and you've got the Variante Alta. It's just fantastic, just having all these places. And when you think about it, an F1 car goes around here in about 110, 115, 120. These cars are doing 120, 141s, 143. So you really get a good chance to savor this track. I really do like it. So I hope we get to showcase that once again. It is in the heart of the Emilia Romagna. I cannot say that. Emilia Romagna. I can't. It's in Italy. I apologize for my pronunciation. It's not that very good. Amateurs, though, are out on this ground, are out on the track at the moment, and they're just doing their first few laps. Of course, some of these drivers that is their out laps because they were pit box right before the start finish line. And I was saying, we have a chance to crown an amateur champion tonight. Teo Sauerhout, 660 points. Frederick Droy in P2, 565. That is a 95-point swing. So really, all Sauerhout has to do is just get one position ahead of Frederick Droy, and on paper, we can't officially claim it due to end of season points, due to safety points. We cannot claim it, but unofficially, if he gets one position higher, he will be able to crown himself as the amateur champion. Then, of course, Johan Assen, 540 in P3. Dean Timms and Edison Manguera, 510 each. And Werner S in P6, 505. So, the end of the podium is still up for grabs. But tonight, it could be Sauerhout tonight to shine.
It may very well be. But again, as you were saying, we've really, we simply don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. And yes, Satao does have to make that one position more on Droy, but again, I don't want to say anything until the checkered flag drops and then we can see what has happened. Because we simply, as you say, don't know. First lap times are now coming on the board. So we do have Ingo Lapsian straight away with a 1:43.19. That is the bar that has been set Werner S doesn't manage to beat that, and he slots in place with 144.58. So realistically, you can expect mid to low. I imagine you can expect probably a low 42 for the pro guys, just to give you a sort of an idea. There is Simon Dodd, though. Another strong performance in qualifying so far. He has gone up into P2. Sauterhauge ground. Actually, no. So Sauterhauge's first lap didn't actually count. Interesting stuff. I tell you what, this is going to be a bit of a banker lap for him, because otherwise, he's not going to be in a good position, is he? Because he's going to be certainly running down the order. So he needs to do a bit of a banker lap. Dean Timms, though, straight up with a 142.89, only 0.03 of a second on Henning Haig. There is Frederick Droy that's just got in with a 142.6. So Sauterhauge, he has certainly got his work cut out for him as it stands at the moment, because that's a very, very fast lap time.
A very good lap time from Droy in the BMW. One thing that is helping Sauterhauge is he has his teammate Magma Youngland in front of him, giving him a little bit of slipstream. Whether or not that's going to hinder him, I don't know, because then he's going to do a little bit of dirty air. But just look at those gaps for a second between Henning Haig and Simon Dodd, 9,000. Between Simon Dodd and Johan Assen, 8,000. That's a pretty close time there. And then once again, with the amateurs showcasing a very nice nice spread of cars. Now, has Sauterhauge just gone wide there? Just watching him. Has he gone wide at Vanny Antialter? I don't think he has. We'll keep eyes on him. He'll be one of the first cars to set a lap time. Ingo Lapsian, Werner S will be the first two. Then it's these two slow-mo drivers of Youngland and Sauterhauge. So we'll keep eyes peeled on both of them. Youngland will be crossing the line first, but I don't think it'll be too much to care for. Here comes Sauterhauge coming down the start-finish straight. What's it going to be for the championship leader? Is it going to be good enough for him? He crosses the lines at 143, 150. It's a banker lap and only puts in P7. Not what he wanted to have out there, really, if we're brutally honest. But like Daniel was saying, that is the banker lap he was after. Kasek still stays P10. In fact, goes up to P9 now. 143.99. Henning Haig, 1/10 off Frederick Droy's time for 142.703. And here comes Frederick Droy. He doesn't need to do this. Ohad has the only car out there left to set a lap time. Frederick Droy will come across the line. Does he go faster than a 42.603? He will go across the line, and I don't think he does. He does a 142.438. Ohad's just the last one to go in the Mercedes.
I'll tell you what, that's certainly a statement from Droy, isn't it? 142.44, near enough 0.3 quicker than Henning Haig in P2. So very much the pace has been set, and Haddad goes up a position with a 143.53 with his last lap being. And now that is that's your AM category all finished. Now we'll wait for the Pro Ams to go out. As you can see, they're all starting to make their way down to the pit exit, which they will then be able to crack on. Yeah, what a statement from Frederick Droy, number 35. That's a very, very impressive performance. And I wonder, I mean, Sauterhauge, I know it obviously was a bank lap. It was, 6.5, 7 tenths slower. Now, even with being a bank lap, I don't know how much time will be in that car, to be perfectly honest. I wonder if there is going to be 7 tenths. It'll be interesting to see. We simply don't know at this point, obviously. And again, the hour and 15-minute race will be the only deciding factor.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious to see what he's able to do. And we know he didn't have a good start last race, and he still came back to get a semi-decent result. But, of course, the championship gap closed with Frederick Droy getting that win last week. The only saving grace for Sauterhauge right now is his drop week is 80 points, which, lo and behold, was the same was last week's result and the first week's result. So one of those 80 points will be going away unless he gets a bad result tonight, which, knock on wood, doesn't happen. And Frederick Droy, his drop week's 40. So everything to play for Droy. It's almost in a no-risk, well, a risk-reward type situation. But even more, even if he doesn't, at least he's still got that P2 or P3 out there standing for him. So that's going to be interesting for Frederick. Now, the Pro-Ams are out there at the moment, and the battle is still close. In fact, realistically, it is still a 4-car battle. Daniel Sedgley leads them with 670 with no drops allowed. He's got 0 points. We just watching, hang on a second, Thomas Reiter having a slide on his outlap at Aqua Minerale. Not sure what happened. I think he just got a little bit too hot there and just had the back kick out there on that BMW. But as I was just going over the championship, Daniel Sedgley, no drop weeks left, 670 points. Cody Pry, he does have a drop week, 640. Will Richardson does have a drop week, 605. Svenning Madison does not have a drop week, 600. See, those two drivers, we kept saying about this all season, with no drop week, because both those drivers crashed out at the first race of the week of the series. It is a lot to play for. Cody Pride's going to take a 60-point drop. Will Richardson's going to take a 50-point drop. They both have a chance here if Daniel Sedgley makes a mistake here and does not get a finish. So anything can happen in this Pro-Am with just the flip of, let's be real, the flip of a car. If a car flips, you're over.
Well, I mean, hopefully that isn't the case, but
it's not hope.
You know, yeah, like you said, it's still all to play for. We still don't know realistically. It could come down to the last race. We may very well see that. We simply don't know at this stage. I'm just having a quick. Do you know what? No, I was going to say, like, you can maybe sort of predict something, but you simply can't. Like you said, it's just very. You can have. You can certainly have theories. If some person finishes here, one person finishes there, then this person will get crowned, etc., etc. But you know, much like the Formula One season at the moment that is going on, it's between two drivers, realistically, and you know, two drivers have a an equal chance of winning in certain sense. It's just who can perform better in the final couple of races, and that is still remaining to be seen. I'm having a look as well. A couple of purple sectors coming in. Cody Pride is one of them with a very, very fast. I was actually racing Cody Pride yesterday. Yes, yesterday even. In the Porsche, the race winning Porsche Cup, held by the same people that obviously are doing WSL. And what a fantastic series. And Cody has some very, very good pace. So I imagine that he will certainly be up there. Maybe goes a little bit wide. I think he got away with it though, and I believe that'll actually be one of the first times coming in. No, Will Richardson is going to be one of the first times that is coming in. Where is Richardson? There he is. And Will Richardson goes up in P2 at the moment with a 42.62. Ryan Hamilton now comes in with a 43.49. So times are starting to come in. Nothing blistering at this moment in time. Richardson still fast, but Ethan Bass now goes up and he takes that position away as a 142.49. So still 500ths off of Frederick Devoy. So I tell you what, that 35 BMW, I mean, that's got some good pace because the lap times that we're seeing now set, I still can't quite match it at this moment in time. Although, again, certainly not over. Yeah, Alden Kelbo still yet to... Well, his first lap actually was 1:45.46. So I wonder if, again, drivers doing a bit, banker laps here and there, just to try and make sure that they do have a lap at least in the works, so that then the second lap they can then push just that little bit harder.
Well, Joachim Code has just crashed out, and I also noticed Cody Pride first lap was invalid. And he is in the pits. So no idea what's going on there, but Cody Pride will be starting at the back of the Pro-Ams. Joachim Code, at best, will be 4th place. We can see a couple more people just going a little bit wide there. Alvin Kelberg now, it's all up to him, but you can just see, but I still can't get over seeing the Ford at the top, but it works. And if it works, it worked. Daniel Sedgley as well. Where is Daniel Sedgley tonight? He's not had a good time at the moment. He needs to be putting on a good lap here. What can he do? And in fact, he's in the pits as well. That is what is going on with these Pro-Ams. They are unable to set decent times and unable to get by. Elvin Kelbo is going to come across the line. Will Richardson goes fastest, by the way. That 1:42.393. What pace there? And Alvin Kelberg officially goes P3 for the Pro-Ams. 4th fastest overall for 42.664. But these Pro-Ams are not setting blistering lap times. Can Svenny Masses do it? 6th place overall, 1:42.686. So it took them a while to get up to speed, which is interesting because usually the first lap's the fastest lap. So very interesting to see how the Pro-Ams have just used the second lap more than the first lap there.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff as well. You may see the pros do something similar. You may even see the pros decide that they're going to do just one lap and go to the pits. No, Harley Horson's pretty consistent for doing that. He'll do one lap in qualifying and then he'll go, cool, that's it. He'll only take enough for an outlap and a flyer. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, still very, very impressive, certainly from the Pro-Ams. It does, I think, highlight how quick the AMs are becoming as well. There is some good pace in the AM class. And it's you can see as well the gaps have just gotten considerably closer. To be perfectly honest, as well, like the gaps have got a lot closer. In fact, so when you look at it from that perspective, I mean, you can't argue at the moment. So to put it into perspective, as we go through now, currently the entire grid, so the top 22, obviously because the pros have not gone out as of yet, separated, but I'm just having a quick look, that is 1.8 seconds, and you pretty much know that the pros are going to be quicker. That gap may extend a little bit, but I thought the pros were going to be in the low 42s. Are we possibly going to see a sort of like several 41s come out? I imagine we are. We do tend to find there's around about between sort of 0.4 and half a second gap between the prams and the pros, especially at the top end. Again, that might not be the case here. Look at Will Richardson, very, very fast lap time, as well as Frederick Devoy. Sort of splitting and really getting stuck in with the pro-ams, which is, like I said, it's good. It's nice to see the pace develop for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, it's great to see the pace develop, and it was really interesting to see how the Pro-Ams are keeping these 42s. Really good lap times by these Pro-Am drivers, the 42s. In practice, the pros were doing 41s, some of them doing mid-41s, a couple of them doing high 41s, but they were all doing 41s. So it's anybody's game out there. And of course, it's anybody's game in the championship, really. Alex Bennett and Alex Gow, we've joked all season that two Alexes cannot be separated. They literally cannot be separated. They both have the same bonus points. They both have the same points on a drop week. They both have the same points overall, 685. This race may be the deciding factor. You don't know. I mean, if we look at this, here's the interesting thing. You would have to count back to them if they split the victories tonight and next week. You would have to go back to how many second places they got. And they both have the same number of second places. You would have to go back to their best third places, and they both have the same number of third places. Then you'd have to go and you go back to their fourth. So basically, whoever wins both wins the championship. But if they both win one of these races, who knows? Who knows what can happen? We had a tie last season, the pros. I don't really want a tie again, but all will be revealed. Another key thing as well, though. Kaz Huguenot is still in with a shot. 620. I know it's a long shot, but 620 points for Kaz Huguenot. He's still in with a chance. And then Harley Halston and Nick Madison both have a chance for that P3. They can play spoiler on Kaz Huguenot. But it does feel like we know who the top three are. I just really like to know now who's going to take 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I'd like to know that as well, but again, we simply... It's as you say, it's just too hard to call when you've got to go down to how many fourth positions and how many fifth positions you've got. Again, it just displays how close this championship has become, and it's going down right to the wire. There's not been anyone that's sailed away in any of these championships, to be fair, and I don't think there's going to be for the final couple of rounds. I just personally can't see it at all. It's just going to be a fight. It is going to be a fight to the wire, and it's going to continue to do that. For the foreseeable. I mean, that's the way we want it as well. Just having a quick look, Kaz Huguenot does have a little bit of a toe. I believe that could be, is that Stuart Reynolds? No, it's not Stuart Reynolds, it might even be Alex Bennett. It is, it's Alex Bennett, teammates. So, getting a little bit of a slipstream. First laps are starting to come in, and it is going to be, wow, that's a quick lap. Kaz Huguenot with a 1:44.83 straight away removed by Alex Gow, who's just now done a 1:44.72. What are we going to see from Augusto Castiami? He goes for his first flying lap, and it's going to be up into P5, just half a second off as it stands at the moment. It's even a little bit less than that, actually, to be fair. But the gaps, Kaz Huguenot in P2, Alex Bennett, importantly, in P3. So that's a very, very crucial thing. I wonder... Well, Kaz Huguenot, we saw, had the slipstream. So that may have been about possibly half a tenth here. Now, half a tenth, Kaz Huguenot has actually gone into the pit lane. So he has decided that he has had enough, and now he goes and just does his one flying out. Alex Bennett, though, is still out on circuit. The number 10 Manetti Racing Lamborghini is still going around. I wonder, did he possibly allow Alex Bennett to have a bit of a toe? I don't really know how that would have worked, to be honest. I think that it may have just been that Bennett has now just got to try and find, a tenth of a second, purely based on out-and-out right pace. That looked a little bit wider. That may have cost him. I wonder how wide that was. I reckon that was an off-track.
I'm thinking that's an off-track Harry Wilsby coming across for him. We'll have to keep an eye out here on Alex Bennett. It would not surprise me if he not definitely. It wouldn't surprise me if he did get an off-track there. So in some respects, sometimes lenient these off-tracks at Imola. Other times, if you just push a bit too hard, you do get nothing. So we'll just see. Bennett comes across the line right now, and it was not it with a pole position with a 1:41.694, and Alex Gao had no response. He came into the pit. Sean Campbell goes up the P3 for 1:41.823. He goes 4 thousandths faster than Huguenot, who pulled in. But Alex Bennett, for that last roll of the dice, just under 300ths of a second faster than Alex Gao. That is a statement. That is an absolute statement there from Bennett. He did that with no toe, even though he was towing his teammate on the first lap.
Impressive stuff, isn't it? Very impressive stuff indeed. So yeah, like you said, Nick Madison, he now goes up into 5th place, and I believe he has another lap to go. The Mag Performance SRT driver, number 14, has another lap. And then once that lap is done, that will be all of the points, all the championships. The qualifying done for round number 9. Little bit wide there for Madsen. He misses the apex by margins, although margins do make a difference here. He's currently 2/10 off of pole position. Now, 2/10 off, and that's put him in P5. Again, shows you how close these drivers really are. Sean Campbell and Cass Huguenot have put in almost identical times to only to about 3 or 4 thousandths of a second difference, so pretty much nothing. If you were to look at that in terms of distance, you're looking at inches. It's absolutely nothing. I thought Madison just backed off then. I don't think he has, so Nick Madison's still going along, still going through. He's putting some good sectors. Like I said, down into... No, he's decided that is enough, actually. So, do you know what? That is it. That is everyone all done and dusted. Harley Hornton unable to set a lap for some particular reason. Not too sure why, though.
Yeah, did not see what that was all about. But yeah, Harley Horton unable to set a lap time. The key one, though, Cody Pry unable to set a lap time. It was an invalid first lap, and then he pulled in. So obviously, Cody was only going for the 1-lap strategy, and it did not work for him. He went all in, and unfortunately, the house was black, and he went red. So unfortunately, he was unable to go there. So that's going to be interesting to see what can Cody do. You remember, we go back to that Pro-Am battle. Cody is 30 points behind Daniel Sedgley. Now, starting at the back of the field, that's going to be tough. I know the field's got a little bit smaller as the season started to get to the end and people know what they can do and what they can't. But even still, at the back of the field, that's still a run that he has to go through, and he needs to get as good as he can. Remember, he won last week. That was his second victory of the season. Remember, if Daniel and Cody tie at the end of the season, I think it's a little bit more straightforward because Cody would have to win a race to get there, and then on the tiebreak, he'd win on wins. So that's easy to see. But Cody, that's the one I really want to look out for. What can Cody do to get up through the order? And then, of course, with the amateurs, I think we got to keep an eye on Sauerhaug. Can he win it this weekend or this week? And I have noticed as well, he does have the issue of penalty points or bonus points. Sorry, basically any protests. If you've had a season where you've not had a successful protest against you, you gain a full sum of points. And every time you get a protest against you that impacts your results, you lose some of these bonus points. So that's the play for in the amateurs, because Sauerhaug does have a difference, but in every other category there are bonus points. I gotta be honest, Daniel, I know that sounds confusing. It confused me the first time I heard it as well. But
it's confused me, yeah. And I've done 9 seasons of this. 9 races, sorry, and I suppose that adds another element to it, doesn't it?
It adds another element. Like I said, last season we had a tie in the pros, and we had to go to fastest laps. That was the only way it could be decided, because they were identical. So in the pros, that could happen this season. Don't really want to see it, but anything can happen. Never say never. So once again, a shout out to Race Anywhere for sponsoring the season, the series, and everything. RaceAnywhere.co.uk. And of course, Sim3D also coming on board for sponsorships. We will be back shortly. We're going to take a quick break as the session will be up hopefully in the next 10 minutes. Well, the race will be starting in the next 10 minutes, so we're going to take a quick break, get ourselves prepared. I hope everyone is prepared. Remember, it's 75 minutes around Imola with 2 mandatory pit stops in GT3s. What more would you want on a Wednesday evening? So come back very shortly, and we will give you a cracking race, I promise.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online race game. To access today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iracing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are once again at Imola. It is very nice. It's 1:10 sim times. That means it's 24 Celsius, 75 Fahrenheit. For those, the stat knows 64% humidity, so a little bit of sliding, but it's not going to be too crucial. Penultimate round of the Race Anywhere World Series European side. And we are looking absolutely juicy at the top of all three championships. Amateur could be decided tonight. Pro-Am has got a long way to go. And the pros, well, I've still got a headache from trying to think about how the tiebreakers could go if certain permutations happen. We'll worry about that after next week. Final round of Silverstone, but we're here at Imola. We're getting ready for 75 minutes around here with two mandatory pit stops. Of course, I'm Craig King, Daniel Hanover with me. If you've just missed out on the qualifying, we're going to quickly run through those qualifying results with Alex Bennett and Alex Gow taking 1 and 2, followed by Sean Campbell, Kaz Huguenot, then Nick Madison, Augusto Calasimi, Stuart Reynolds, and Harry Wills takes on the pros and the pro-ams. It's Will Richardson and Ethan Bass in the Ford, 1 and 2. And then you go down the order, you will see following that is Alvin Kelberg, Joachim Koh, Svenny Massis, Chris Chatterton, and Thomas Reiter, Daniel Gilding, Ryan Hamilton, Daniel Sedgley, and Cody Pride. Notice, no qualifying lap for Cody Pride. If he wants to chance that championship, he has to do it from the back of the field. The amateurs, just you see there, Frederick Droy on his own. He needs a good result tonight if he wants to try and keep into the championship. He starts pole. Henning Haig is beside him. Then Ingo Lapsian, Dean Tim, Simon Dodd, Johan Assen. And Taylor Sauerhaug could win the championship tonight, but look at him, down in P7. Werner S., Goetz Sek, Achrad El Haddad, Edison Manguera, and Magman Yonlin round out the amateurs. A 31-car field tonight. Daniel, we're getting ready for this because I love Imola.
So do I. Imola's a very, very good circuit. It's a track that we all enjoy, regardless whether you're spectating, commentating, racing, whatever it may be. We all do enjoy it. I know I certainly do. So, as we can see, the pro field coming down now, there is a starting zone of which drivers will be allowed to then take the green flag. So when the green flag drops, that doesn't necessarily signal the start of the race. And there has to be around about a 10 to 15 second gap between each of the classes, which means we'll get a chance to watch the pros. We'll then dart back to the pro-ams, and then we'll dart finally back to the ams, and then we'll be able to go for 75 minutes. I am very much looking forward to it. Even with a smaller grid on the pro field, it's still going to be exciting.
Going to be absolutely exciting. We expect to see a little bit of procession. Let's see who leads that procession. We wait for Alex Bennett to lead them off. We still wait. The starting zone has started now, but he's just holding them to the last possible minute. And when he goes, he'll keep himself in the lead. And there he goes. He catches everybody sleeping a little bit there. Alex Gow did not get a very good start, and he may get a little bit compromised here. He's having to go on the defense right away. You've got Sean Campbell right behind him, and that does look like Augusto Calasimi wants to make a move.
Apologies, we've lost Craig there for a second. Sorry, we're back. Sorry, Craig, we lost you for a few moments.
Yeah, no idea what happened there, but we can just see it's a very clean possession as the pro-ams are now starting to go through. Will Richardson taking them away pretty comfortably there, but there has been some movement, and even back losing P2, and he's done a little bit of defense here. Joachim Koh is right behind. There has been a spin. That looks like Ryan Hamilton. It is Ryan Hamilton. Ryan Hamilton's gone backwards. Just had a little bit of a tuck for the wall there. He did it himself. Yep, just hit the little bit of the sausage in. Amateurs are now coming down, though, with Frederick Droy leading the way.
Indeed, yeah, Frederick Droy leading by Henning Haig, and then leading Dean Timms, Inga Lapsian just behind as well. It all seems to be a single file now for the AMS already. Sauterhau still stays where we are. That's the important one. Sauterhau, if he wants to finish, if he wants to win the championship this round, he needs to finish ahead of Frederick Droy. It's a tall order, but it's certainly not impossible. It's also a very, very difficult task. We'll have to see how Sauterhau gets on. A couple of things that happened down in the Anfield. I think Chris Chatterton's had a bit of a half spin somewhere. He's dropped down a position, only a single position though, so he is still cracking on regardless. In fact, let's actually have a look at that replay now. Here it is. Just coming through. Is it just... it's just a little bit wide, just before... for the life of me, the name of the corner I can't remember the name. What's that double right-hander?
Peritella, then that down to the right-hander with Aqua Minerale.
Aqua Minerale, that's it.
Yeah, just losing Aqua Minerale. Of course, on the first lap with the cold tyres, you do expect it. And that's Daniel Gilding now all the way at the back. He's lost a bit of time as well. We know Ryan Hamilton lost a little bit of time. Well, I say a little bit of time. He had a bit of a spin, but he was unable to do anything there. So we'll have a look to see what happened to Daniel Gilding. Is he going to get a little bit squeezed? Did he go a little bit too hot there onto the bump? Hot, yeah. Just took too much, and Cody Pride was lucky not to hit him. That is not what he wants there. Cody Pride needs a chance, needs this to try and get somewhere in the championship. But Daniel Sedgley's in front of him, which is kind of interesting because they are kind of battling still. There's still a little bit of a battle there because Daniel Sedgley is the championship leader by 30 points. Cody Pride needs to get past Daniel Sedgley. They're both not having the best of times at the moment, it feels like.
No, not the moment. No, it's true. Well, again, it's early days of the race yet. We really don't know. Again, it's hard to say. Different strategies going to play into effect. I see a bit of fuel save. This is an easy track to fuel save on, actually, to be fair. You can save ahead. Quite a lot of fuel going down into turn one, coming out the last corner. You're a good sort of 15, 20 seconds, completely flat chat. So you do have a fair amount of opportunity to fuel save going into pretty much every single corner. There's an opportunity there. So we may see that playing into effect, which is again at the Pro-Ams. We haven't seen too much in terms of overtakes as it stands at the moment. Just having a quick look further down the field. This is Sedgley and Cody Pride. So having a bit of a battle. Chris Chatterton is 3.8 seconds up the road. So we're going to have to see on the last lap pace as well. Brakes, as you can see, Cody Pride is running a hefty amount of rear bias on that car. I imagine probably like 47%, 47.5%. It tends to be the sweet spot for the Porsche GT3, and you can see that as well, the rear disc glowing red. Is this going to be a possible move? It's very, very close indeed. Are we going to see Cody Pride pulls out to the left-hand side? Sedgley doesn't defend all that much. I wonder if he's not going to defend at all, in fact. They're going to go side by side. No, Sedgley does not defend at all. In fact, he even backs out of it early. I wonder if it's to get... Well, it's either two things. It was either to get a good run coming down into the second form of chicanes, or instead it was just to simply save a little bit of fuel, and I think he's gone for the latter.
Yeah, it looks like the latter. He also knows the situation here. Cody can stay ahead of him by one place, and he doesn't really gain a lot in the championship. But if Cody starts to pull away, and really Daniel could control the pace, but I think he's happy enough just to be a little bit of fuel saving here and just allow him to make those moves. And even more with how long that straight is after Ravazza too, on the way down to Tamburello, you could make another move again. I know some drivers already in this race haven't done that. No surprise too, it's the pros. Alex Gall had a run down into the first corner, Tamburello, on Alex Bennett, but he decided no. Now, Sauerhaug has made a couple places up. He's currently P6, I say a couple places. I might be totally wrong there, but no, he's made up one place, and he's just he's doing okay. He can't win the championship. Well, he can win the championship tonight, but he's got such a cushion. He can afford not to like win it tonight. He could do it next week. It would be Frederick Droy to do all the work. So he's fine where he is, but the pace is there. The Lamborghini is a little bit strong around here, as it is in a lot of places. I think it favoured the BMW more just because of the height. The BMW can take the curves a little bit better than these Lamborghinis. But for Sauerhaug, he is making a comfortable start. And remember, you won't see a lot of overtakes at start the race, but I say that. There you go. There's an overtake right there with Thomas Reiter getting overtaken from Madison. He may get Chris Chatterton just coming up behind him now. That was in Tamburello. Is there going to be a move down into Villeneuve? And there's a car on the grass right here. That's many Mattis also going onto the grass. These two can be going side by side. They almost come together into Villeneuve. I say you can't go in overtaking Toza out of Villeneuve. And just like that, Bruce, you cannot. These three are pretty much locked together at the moment. Chatterton has a lovely view. I don't know if it's the best view he wants. He's just seen Senny Mattis go on the grass going down into Villeneuve. So just makes him worry. And now doesn't look high speed, but it is high speed Pertella. Down there, you can just see the space that Sveni Madison into Aquaminerale 1, into Aquaminerale 2. Little bit of a slide. You just saw that slide, and Sveni Madison is struggling at the moment. There was no grip there. He almost had to keep the car slow just to hold it on there. And one thing you've got to remember, there is a slowdown zone at Aquaminerale 2. I know that sounds crazy. More sliding, and even more, that may have just forced Thomas Reiter to have a slowdown. If you go too wide, he's in the wrong gear. If you go too wide there, very Alta, you may have to get a slowdown, but he does not. Can Thomas Reiter make this move around the outside? They're still side by side. I think the overlap's just going. And look at Chris Chatterton. He's trying to force the issue. He can't. And this has brought Cody Pride back into a fight. And I think this is just what Cody needed, just like last week. He needs a little bit of a helping hand. And if the guys in front are battling, that just puts him right into the slipstream, and that will help him.
Yeah, I was just having a quick look at this, and I was looking through, and we saw that Chatterton was trying to get on the inside of Thomas Reiter. I think he was just doing it a little bit too early, though. From a position of battling, he ended up costing himself, Thomas Reiter, and Madison all time, which is certainly not what you want to do, obviously, in the early stage of the race, but arguably for Cody Pride, it's exactly what he wanted, as you say. The gap has now come right back down. You can see in the rear camera of Cody Pride, you have got Daniel Sedgley still there, very much breathing down the neck of that number 15 Porsche. I do want to have a quick look. We might see, I don't think we're going to have time actually, to be fair, but we might try and see if we can get that a little bit later on. As well, Cody Pride is hassling the back of that Ferrari. No move as of yet, but look at Daniel Sedgley though. He's wanting to get involved. Backs off a little bit, was just a wise decision at the time. So Chatterton and Cody Pride, if I was anything, I probably wouldn't be. If I was Cody Pride, I would not want to pressure Chris Chatterton too much, because have a look. The gap between Matheson and Reiter is now starting to pull away. That gap is increasing. And if Cody Pride still continues, that's a little bit wide. Is that too wide? Yes, it's too wide. Slow down for Cody Pride. Just pushed the car a bit too much, and that cost him severely. That is certainly not what you want. I do want to have a quick look, though, because Cody Pride did make the move on Daniel Sedgley. Obviously, we've just seen that come back now, but it was up the inside going into turn 1. So I just wanted to have a quick look at that, and that was the move there.
It's going to do it all over again. And I would have thought Cody would have just waited to make this move anywhere. Just elsewhere, maybe into Tamburello. Never know. Here's the two Alexes, as per usual. We've got to give the airtime to the pros until before the end, because this is standard procedure for the pros. If you've never watched the World Series, they will stay together and they will fuel save. But what's interesting is how these two have started to pull away from Sean Campbell, and you can just see that on the gaps on the timing tower there, they are to the car in front, of course. So yes, that's almost 1.5 second gap to Sean Campbell. Over 1.5 second that Madsen has to Huguenot. So you start to see the pros are starting to spread out a little bit there. And you can just see they're in their own little battle. Like Huguenot needs, if he wants a chance at the championship, he needs to be up there. But at the moment, it's not working for him. So he'll just have to hold on. Alex Bennett, though, just having a nice little drive. Sean, Alex Gow as well. They're almost having a Sunday drive on a Wednesday evening. Just nice and relaxing. They're throwing in mid 141s, and they're just having the time of their life. Meanwhile, in the amateurs, I wouldn't say they're having the time of their life, unless you're like overtaking. That's Edison Manguera, and it's going to sec, and that is Johan Assen. You can just see how wide they're going. It looks like Assen may want to make the move, and I think they all want to make the move here. As they go into Piratella, there isn't going to be anything there just because of the nature of the corner. It's a high-speed corner, though. Will anybody get a good run as they go down into Acro Minerale? They will not, and it's not really a corner you can send it into, so everything just stays around there. We just wait on. But that is not exactly a good gaggle of cars at the moment. They're all just having a nice time there, but look at that gap, 5 seconds elsewhere. And here's a move we didn't expect to see. That is Nick Madsen straight on Sean Campbell. And it looks like Madsen wants to get up to the front right away. So amateurs are just holding station at the moment, even though the gaps are starting to spread out there. Look at that, 4.8 seconds to Werner S. But for the pros, it's all happening.
It is indeed. It's sort of happening up here as well, as it stands at the moment. Again, I wonder if it's going to be... I wonder if that's going to be something that Frederick Voigt currently leading by about sort of 0.3 a second. And that's been the gap for around about, the last sort of like 10 probably the last like 7 or 8 minutes, really since the start of the race. To be fair, thinking about it, yeah, Madison obviously thought that he had pace on Campbell. He wanted to get by. A very very rare overtake, especially 11.5 minutes into this race. But yeah, something that I don't think is obviously Nick Madison feels he's got the pace. Sean Campbell's not going to mind too much because that's going to allow him to do a little bit of fuel saving possibly. So there's benefits for both drivers here. If Madison is obviously able to pull away, which at the moment doesn't look like it because the gap is now sort of stagnated at that 2/10 of a second. And the reason behind that is, again, like I said, the slipstream opportunities here is just simply so vast. You've got all of that slipstream down into turn 1, and arguably coming down into here, for example, as well, as Droy has he goes on his normal racing line, and I wonder if it's just Henning Haig. Yeah, Henning Haig is just sort of toying with him at this point. He's trying to put him off balance a little bit, as it were, trying to upset him, trying to force the mistake. Nothing as of yet, though, and in fact, I think he may have actually cost himself a little bit of time, which he has indeed, so the gap has now gone up to 0.4 of a second. Come now down into the last corner, though. That's brave from Dean Timms. Wow, what has he got? What size brakes has he got on that Ferrari? How much did he caught up there? Loads. Did cost a little bit of time on exit now. But again, this is where Henning Haig is now going to be able to catch up to Frederick Devoy, and Frederick Devoy is going to now lose out. I'm interested to hear if there is any lift and coast here. If there is a bit of lift and coast, and I wonder, let's just have a quick listen. Yes, of lift and coasting as well. So Henning Haig playing the long game here. That's why that gap hasn't really changed. And I think this is the key thing here as well, isn't it, Craig, is there's lots of overtaking opportunities. It's just when it's getting the timing right. And that timing tends to come either the undercut in the pits, the overcut in the pits, or it comes in the last sort of 10, 12 minutes after the final pit stop has happened.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've also seen it. We've had a good example earlier with the Pro-Ams. If you have a little bit too much battling here, it really holds you up, and you can just see that everyone was just trying to say the given. Now, that's a slow car. That's Johan Assen getting around, but that is a slow car there. That looks to be a slowdown. Yeah, Edison Mangera. It looks to be, I reckon that's a slowdown. Very interesting slowdown, though. Why would that be a slowdown out of the turn? I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit slower on exit coming out of the chicane. Coming out of the hairpin. That could have been my only thing. Possibly, it's very easy as well through that chicane, even in the BMW or something the likes of the BMW. Very, very easy for the car to have a bit of a sideways moment if the car all of a sudden gains a little bit of momentum. So certainly something that can happen. Meanwhile, down in the Pro-Ams, we now see Cody Pride trying to make the move once again on Daniel Sedgley. Is this going to be a carbon copy of what happened? And it pretty much is, Again, we can see Sedgley not fighting it all too much. Someone's gone off as well. That's Matheson. Matheson has gone off, and that's cost Cody Pride. Oh, Cody Pride's gone off as well. So Sedgley actually, do you know what? I think Sedgley backed out of that then. I wonder why that... Yeah, okay, Sedgley seemed to have backed out. So obviously didn't make up any position there. So Matheson was the person to lose out there, and he's now lost on a good 3 or 4 positions. Let's see if we can get a replay of that, because I'd be interested to see. I don't think there was contact.
No, he hit the curb. I just pulled it back myself. We'll see it in the replay right now. Ooh. Too much curb, and there you go.
Whoa!
And actually, that is so much curb. There is damage on the back of the car. That we know you can take these a little bit here. We know you can take a little bit of the curves and the sausages. But there's a limit, and I think he found that limit. And if you were to constantly hit that over and over again, you'd cause engine damage to the point that you would break the car. So a little bit of, hang on 1 second, a little bit sideways here. Hang on, are they going around a corner that I say you cannot overtake in? That is Toaster, that is Johan Assen, Goetz Kaseki, Edison Mangera right behind them. They're side by side going into Piratella. The inside does belong to Assen, and he will get it. And look at that, brilliant. Almost coming together though at the back. Mangera and Gasek, but they don't have it. And now Magnola wants to go for a send into Acro Minerale. He cannot make that. You have to give back that. You have to just hold back there. I'd be surprised to ever see an overtake there, I'm going to be honest. Now, I've just also looked. Daniel Sedgley has lost another place here. He's had a slowdown in the Pro-Ams. That's interesting just because of the gap between Pride and Sedgley. That is interesting. In fact, to the point that slowdown has allowed Daniel Gilding, don't know why I say Nick Gilding there. Daniel Gilding going by. So look how many cars now. 2 cars between Pride and Sedgley. So that gives about 10, 15 points difference. Now, that's not a lot when you think about the gap at the moment is 30 points. But if they were to do that again next week, it could be different. So that is something we've got to keep an eye out for. We don't have the AWS live championship update, but we can get a rough idea of the championship updates. That is kind of crucial for Daniel there. Losing out, I think he did have a slowdown. I bet you he cut Ravazza at the end there, Ravazza 2. He probably cut that and got a slowdown, just trying to push a bit too hard. I've noticed that. I have noticed that. Watching Cody, watching Daniel, they've both been pushing quite hard at the moment, to the point they've almost been overdriving when they've been behind. So we'll go back to that later. And this is Simon. Simon Dodd's had a quiet middle half of the season, it's safe to say. Doing really well, but it looks like his championship challenge out of the kind of a long shot at the moment. But he's still having fun. P5 battling Ingo Lapsian right now. And that Ferrari has shown some really good pace out there today for Eclipse. I'm just really curious what he's got left in the final two races there. Are we going to see another victory maybe? So Simon Dodd continues on. It's just always interesting to just see around here, because you've got the straights, but one of the things that make these straights interesting is how they're bent. And here we go, Thomas Reiter and Chris Chatterton. And Chris Chatterton, it looks like he's not going to take time. Chris Chatterton never looked like he wanted to make that move. He was just trying to keep it safe there, as Reiter already had the inside. But it almost looked like Reiter just a little bit of an in touch there. The switch back from Chatterton, a bit too deep there. That's going to be late braking into Villeneuve. It does not pay off. Now, if he gets a good run out of here, he'll have to try and go around the outside of Toaster. And now the cutback again. Has he made it for a second time? No. And more battling means here comes Cody, and he's lost control of the car. And Cody's just gone for it. I think Chris was just trying one too many cutbacks there and one too many dummies just to make that work out there. But I applaud his attacking there of Thomas Reiter. That could have been very interesting.
It could have been. I noticed as well, we're not going to get a replay of it, unfortunately, but it looked like a little bit of a naughty squeeze then from Thomas Reiter. That could have ended quite badly. And I mean, for Thomas Reiter, that would have ended badly for Thomas Reiter, because Chris Chatterton was as far as he could go to the right-hand side. He was in no obligation to go further right, because he simply couldn't. Otherwise, that would have put him on the grass. So I think Thomas Reiter was a little bit lucky there, because that could have certainly cost him his own race. If he'd have hit the front of that car with the rear, if he'd have hit the front of the Ferrari with the rear of his car, that would have put him straight into the wall. So, yeah, a little bit of a naughty squeeze there by Chatterton, regardless if he was going to try and make the move or not. Yeah, that would have been certainly looked on to the stewards as no fault from Chatterton there. A little bit further down in the pro field, because obviously there are pros in this race as well. I know they're doing a lot of single file formation, but Augusto Cassiami and Harry Wills are having a good little battle here at the moment as it stands. Gap around about sort of 1.5 to 2 tenths between one another. Again, we know that the first round of pit stops aren't going to make too much of a difference, because everyone's just going to be filling up with full fuel. It's the second round of pit stops that is going to make the difference. The second round of pit stops, that way, it's if you can save a hefty bit of fuel now, then that is going to put you in good stead for the second round, so that you don't have to put as much fuel in. If you do one lap extra than say your opponent in this stint, it's not going to make a bit of difference, because you're both going to have the same fuel. If anything, you might actually lose a little bit of time, because you're having to go an extra lap. You might have a slightly slower in lap, or obviously it takes your tyres a bit quicker to warm to temperature, and everything just happens a lap after. Whereas the person behind you, or if they were behind you in front, whatever it may be, they've got an opportunity to have a very, very fast out lap. So, you know, it depends. Actually, I've just realised they're not taking fuel, so I've just chatted absolute rubbish. Yeah, you tend to find, or I've tended to find, you lose time in the first pit stop if you go an extra lap. Don't know why that is, but that's the way it is. But the second pit stop, that's where it makes a difference. If you can save one lap in the first stint and then one lap in the second stint, in theory that's 2 additional laps of fuel that you don't have to take compared to everyone else around you. Now that, around a track like this, probably is about 3 seconds or so. Is that going to be Cassiami going up the inside? It is indeed. Harry Wills has a bit of a look and tries to get the triple switch back. Can he do it? I don't think he can. He's going to give it a good old go, though. Is it going to be a move? Possibly. No, I don't think it is, actually. No, the move would have happened earlier than that. So that is it. Cassiami up now into P7 overall. Nearly back in the position where he started, although he's got a little bit wide. Howell's going to try around the outside. Oh, bit of a slide for Cassiami once again round that corner. Tricky corner there. Wonder if it's maybe a bit too much rear bias on the rear that's causing the car to rotate a little bit too much, possibly. I'm not sure if that is the case. If anything, I'd maybe move the brake bias a couple of clicks forward to give it a bit more stability. But again, that's just me. Svenga Madison is in the pits, interestingly enough. I'm not entirely sure why, but he is in the pits. Down to the Pro Anfield, we have now got Cody Pride versus Thomas Reiter still kicking off. Pride tries to go up the inside of Piratella. No move on the cards there as it stands. This is going to be playing nicely into the hands of Chris Chatterton, because all the time that these two are battling, Chris Chatterton is now catching up.
Yeah, he's slowly catching up, but the pace that these two have been doing have been really interesting and really good. You can see ever since Cody Pride got up past Daniel Sedgley, that gap now is about 5 seconds. That is a really good pace from Cody after the mishap at the start of the pit cycle. Just a word on Svenny Matters there. He's retired the car. Would not be surprised if he's had to retire because hitting that curb has actually done engine damage. It would not surprise me. He was losing a bit of time there, so that could be it for Svenny. That's unfortunate for him, but we'll continue to look. Cody Pride though, P6. I don't think P6 matters. It's how many places between him and Daniel Sedgley. There's only 2 cars. He'd love to get a third guy. He'd love to get Thomas Reiter. And then it's a question of how close can he get to Joachim Coe? Can he get to that top 5? He would be in the top 5 anyway if we get past Thomas Reiter, but he's been behind this Panda Racing BMW for quite a while now. Has been saving some fuel. That's an important thing. Can he go an extra lap? Maybe, maybe not. He gets a really good run here, and again, he has to go. He's not going to try and go around the outside. He is trying, but it does get compromised. Now, while they're battling, like I said, you think Chris Chatterton could catch up? He matched Cody Pride's lap time last lap. That says it all. And hang on 1 second. The 3 of these guys still battling and still switching positions. And hey, Tim Frederick Troy, Ingo Lapsian, they're just having a little bit of a party out there today. And that is a late move.
What's happened
there.
to Troy? Why is Troy so slow all of a sudden?
Hang on. Has Troy hit the curb? Very interesting, Frederick Troy. There's no reason why he'd be going this slow right now. He's gone up, and is that contact? That is contact! Contact, and Frederick Troy's in the wall! He's hit the back! This could be the championship to Starhound! What has happened here? What is going on for Frederick Troy? It's all gone wrong!
Let's have a quick look. We've got to break this down a little bit. We're going to break that down in a few moments. We're just seeing as well Nick Madison versus Sean Campbell. I thought there was going to be a move there, but nothing as of yet. So Nick Madison retakes the position off of Sean Campbell. Yeah, we need to have a look at this. We definitely need to have a look at what actually happened here, because several things happened. We do have... All right, so let's break this down. This is Ingo... Whoa! Okay. So Ingo Lapsian, so that was the move. That was the initial contact that we see there. I'm just having a bit of a look. I'm trying to go further back. I wonder what actually happened, but I can't really see anything. If anything, let's try and if we can follow Frederick Droy. So it's through down into turn 1. Is it a slowdown possibly? I can't see it being a slowdown. Oh, I don't know. The car doesn't look particularly happy turning. It doesn't look particularly happy going in the straight line, or is that me?
No, I think it might be you, but he hits the brakes. I'm just going back myself. He hits the brakes. I think you were right with your first assumption that he did indeed take a slowdown into turn 1, into Tamburello, and then that's it. You can see that there's a twist on that wing. There is dents on that rear splitter. That could be it for Frederick Droy. That could be the championship handed, unfortunately, to an incident. We never like to see that. Sean Campbell, Nick Madsen going side by side. Can Nick Madsen get the Sean? Will just say, take it. I'll do some more fuel saving. Thank you very much. Pit window is open, and Cody Pride jumped in and took a very early pit stop. Now, he can go to enough time for the second pit stop, so that's not a problem either. But Frederick Joy, look at this right now. He's down in P6. It's all gone wrong just from that one incident. And on such a track with speeds and straights, having that damage on the wing, I think that's going to cost him at least 10 kilometers an hour. My maths isn't very good when it comes to this, but I'm thinking you've probably got a better knowledge of this. I'm thinking, yeah, 10 kilometers at least.
Possibly. I mean, it depends if there's the main thing. It depends if there's underfloor damage. In fact, let's have a look. So let's just bring up the dashboard and we'll see. So Simon Dodd, we'll have a bit of a look before the braking zone here. Okay, so Simon Dodd, he has got a bit of a toe, bear in mind. So Werner S may be the better person. So 248 we saw just then. We've actually got 257 for Frederick Joy. That can't be right, surely.
He must be slipstreaming, surely, Frederick Joy.
But who's he slipstreaming off of? He hasn't got anyone in front of him. That's the interesting. What's Kaseki going to do? Let's have a quick look at Kaseki. Kaseki's about the same. So yeah, 256, 257. So I don't think, surprisingly enough, that Droy has actually lost any speed, which is very, very lucky. He may have lost a kilometre an hour or possibly 2. Is that going to make too much of a difference? I mean, it will certainly make a difference, maybe half a tenth. But the pace that Droy had, do you know what? I don't want to. Again, I don't want to say anything at the moment. We're going to have to see what these lap times are. So the last lap time for Tautag was at 1:43.17. We had the last lap time for Droy was a 1:43.35. So 0.2 of a second here. Now that's, I think, to be fair, obviously Droy would have had that, would have been shaken up a little bit there, obviously from the incident that happened with himself and Ingo Lapsian. So it would take him maybe a lap or so to sort of get back into the swing of things. But arguably, I don't think there's no reason why Droy can't catch up. He's only got, he's got 47 minutes to do it. Now, that's a very, very tall order. It's a very tall order. As it stands at the moment, provisionally, yes, we would have Satterhaug winning the championship based on the finishing result as it stands at the moment, although they could certainly change. It's just, there's too much that can happen here to really work out. Again, we've had Satterhaug's last lap was 1:42.8 and Droy's was 1:44.8, or 1:44 dead, so... yeah, again, let's see. Once we get round to the next round of pit stops, then we'll have a much better understanding.
We will indeed. Alex Bennett's coming to the pits there. He's managed to pull out quite a bit of a lead on Alex Bennett. And something happened to Alex Galstar. I'm getting Alex is confused. Bennett goes into the pits. Alex Gal will take the lead. That's interesting to see. The pit window's open a little bit earlier than I thought. The Pro-Ams, half of the Pro-Ams have already come in as well. And that looks like 4 of the remaining 3, so 5 pros have pitted. Nick Madsen pitted a lap earlier, so with just a couple pros left to pit. With the gap that Alex Gal has right now, he's got clear air. He has literal clear air as Alex Gal. What can he do out there in terms of making an advantage? Can he go the +1? Yes. Can he go the +2? He's been saving quite a bit. He's allowed Alex Bennett to lead out there, so we'll look at it. We'll look at that, and it could be very interesting to say the least. He will have to pit this time, we think. Like I said, we'll keep our eyes on that battle. You can just see the amateurs; they haven't pitted yet, so you can see on the timing tower there. It's all very interesting. Now the amateurs coming, Henning Hay, Tautag, Werner S. They are all coming in to the pits this time by. And that will allow these Pro-Ams to finally get back in the right position. You can see all those amateurs just darting in right now. And Will Daniel Gilding, he's got to pit sometime as well, I believe. No, actually, no, I've got it wrong. He's already come out. Pit stops are always sort of confusing timeout here. And now, was that Alvin Kelberg just going slow then? Yeah, that's interesting. Alvin Kelberg just allowed Ethan Bass to get the position back going into turn 1. Not sure what that was all about. And now, obviously, Kelberg wants a bit of slipstream. He's just going to allow...
maybe.
Yeah, just going to allow... Alex Gal finally comes into the pit stop. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. He does have a 40-second lead over Alex Bennett. And in a pit stop, you're looking at about 50 seconds. So 1 minute 17 Alex Bennett spent in the pits. what can Alex Gal do? This is very crucial for the championship.
It is, as you say, here is Alex Bennett. So he is going to come around 2 more corners to go. And then he will be coming out. Now running on board. You can see again on the left-hand side when you see pit exit. That means that Alex Gal is then moving once again. He's going to come out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And the reason being is that Alex Bennett is going to have the run. Where is Alex Gal? There is Alex Gal. Off he goes, but it's not going to be enough. And look at that. Alex Bennett will be sailing past. You'll see him on the left-hand side now. There he goes. But arguably, he's only got around about 0.6 of a gap. This is the opportunity now for Bennett to pull away. He needs to pull more than a second if he wants to have a chance of just getting away from that slipstream. Because you now have Alex Bennett, obviously has to warm his tyres up. His tyres are a little bit colder, so Bennett needs to capitalise on this. At the moment, though, doesn't look like it's happening. We see Alex Gal holding his own for the moment. Nick Madison, though, where has he come from all of a sudden? Nick Madison, look at that. He's jumped Sean Campbell. The undercut has worked here. And we now see that Sean Campbell, who made a significantly earlier pit, well, I say significantly, it was only a lap or 2 laps earlier than the few of them, has now come into the pit. So, interestingly enough, maybe the undercut has worked in this round, which is one of the, normally we see the overcut that makes a world of difference, but the undercut seems to have worked this time out.
I'm wondering, has Nick Madison done a short pit stop?
Might have done.
Because that's a big amount of time that he's managed to pull back. And that to me suggests a short pit stop. And remember, in theory, a tank will last you 30 minutes. So in 12 minutes, technically the pit window opens for the final pit stop. Nick Madsen could be going for that, but at the same time, that means he's got to put a lot of fuel in that car. And sometimes that can pay off, sometimes it can't pay off, as long as you can get the run. Alvin Kjellberg, though, he doesn't need a run at the moment. He just needs a little bit of time to get past Ethan Bass here. Again, if he just holds it straight, gets around, he's already got around the Variante Alta, if he gets around Ravazza and just keeps that slipstream, he'll have a good run, I would say, on Ethan Bass. This Ford, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. Ethan Bass, he almost lives in this Ford. He lives and sleeps and eats a Ford. And you can just see that when you hone your skills on a certain car, it really just says. You see it sometimes when people, they only race Formula 3s, they only race Skip Barbers, they only race NASCAR or something. You can see that only racing one thing, you hone your skills on that certain thing. With Ethan Bass, he just drives a Ford, and you can just see, even though it's the old car, it's out of date, people say, let's get a new car and get rid of the Ford. You can still see he manages to pull this car around and just breeds some fantastic results in this thing. And right now, he's there at P2 in the class. He's not had a good season in the championship, but he's P5 in the championship. But he's just been doing really well. And I'm hoping I didn't curse him there. He had a little bit of a slide. But that Ford, it's always one to look out for.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Yeah, very, very true. It's certainly something to... You can't knock it. You can't knock this old Ford. Kjellberg is playing the long game at the moment. He's just sitting behind again, saving the fuel. Ryan Hamilton has had a moment. Let's just have a quick look. It's going into too much curb, possibly, or out of the barrier, or in the barrier. That was a bit of a hefty hit. Luckily, it was in a tyre barrier, though, so not too much damage. So, but that was unfortunately Ryan Hamilton losing out on a fair few positions. He's now down in P22 overall and P10 in class. So certainly not the race that Ryan Hamilton wanted. He was struggling a little bit at Red Bull Ring as well. Which is certainly not ideal, and something that he won't be wanting to do too much more. As we are having a little bit of quick look at the times as well. I'm just having a quick look. Frederick Javoy has started to settle. The times are certainly starting to settle down now. We're sort of mid to high 43s, which is around about the pace of all of the drivers, to be fair, as it stands at the moment, all of the drivers in the AM. Arguably, though, the last few laps have been quicker than Sauterhaus, so it doesn't seem... It's a tall order, certainly so, because the gap is around about 7 or 8 seconds. In fact, let's have a quick look at the at what the gap is there. So you can see, if we now go to Frederick Joy here, we can now see that gap to... It's not actually worked as well as I'd hoped. to be fair. Oh, no, it has. No, the gap is around about 6.5, 7 seconds. So, Roy can actually see the Lamborghini just up ahead. There is Southend. He's just going over the start-finish line. He's just going down, breaking into turn 1. So, have a look at Frederick Roy. He can see him, albeit just. Only just. And I wonder if that's just going to give him the little bit of just the drive that he needs, just to really push forward and try and keep up. Again, last lap time for Southend was a 43.1. Frederick Joy was a 43.4. Wow, it's too close to call. Do not count anything out simply just yet. Oh, what's happening at the front actually? Alex versus Alex. Alex Gal going to try and go around the outside of Alex Bennett. Is it going to be the move? No, it's not. And I tell you what, look at Nick Madison. He's gone, thank you very much, chaps. I want to get involved with this as well. And he's really getting stuck in, isn't he? He wants that. I wonder if he's going to try and possibly break Nick Madison. What, is he going to try and break the two Alexes? I don't know, actually. Is it sensible for him to? Because the gap between himself and Sean Campbell is 3.3 seconds. I mean, maybe if he can get past, he'll try and pull away. He did that with Sean Campbell a little bit earlier on in the race. Is he going to try and do the same again?
I'm not entirely sure. Remember, we're thinking it's possible that Nick Madsen is on a lighter fuel load, so he's a little bit quicker. I have heard as we started this, he was starting to lift and just give some room. That he might also be fuel saving just to see how long he can take this. But all of a sudden, just that move, I'm confused why Alex Gao, I've got to remember I can't say Alex there, I'm confused why Gao decided to put the car where he did there in Tamburello. I know Bennett was defending, but Alex Gao, he almost looked like he overcooked that corner. He had to take a lot of speed off to make that first chicane. But now here he is, he's right at the back. There's 3/10 between first and second, there's 4/10 between second and third. And I'm just wondering, is this another chance there? Was that Alex Gal's best chance at the moment to get by Bennett? Maybe. Let's see. We've got a lovely view here from Nick Madsen's cockpit. We're going to see the two championship leaders, Alex and Alex, battle it on. And there's a good run in this Ferrari. The VRS Satellite Ferrari has a good run. And he's going to pull up side by side to Alex Bennett right now. And he does have the speed. And he's just going to take the speed. Does Bennett respond? There's still an overlap. And he is going to fight this. He's going to fight this. They're going to go 2 by 2 into Tamarello. And Alex Gal makes the move pay off. Brilliant move there from Alex Gal. And now Bennett is not where he wants to be. He has to defend against Nick Madsen. And Madsen just wisely says, no, I'm not going to take it into Villeneuve. I will wait my turn because you cannot defend at the moment. I think Alex Bennett's a little bit of a sitting duck right now. He needs Alex Gal to start pulling away from Nick Madsen.
Yeah, he does indeed, doesn't he? I wonder if it's going to be a great move by Gal, though. And to be fair as well to Alex Bennett, gave the space. Also, to be fair to Nick Madsen, because I thought Nick Madsen was going to try and have a good old crack, but he decided against it. Got a couple of replays to look at. One of them is Dean Timms actually passed Henning Haig. And I wonder, and do you know what? It's because Henning Haig has gone, whoa, Henning Haig, big moment there. That has cost several positions. Actually, no, it's only cost one position, actually, for Henning Haig, because the gap is still 5.8 seconds, which goes to show how high the pace, how fast everyone else, both Dean Timms and Henning Haig are at this stage of the race. So Dean Timms now comfortably leads, tell a lie. So Dean Timms now comfortably leads by a 5.5 second margin. Werner S has also had a moment. Here he comes. The Panda 1 white car again goes. Oh, that might have given some steering damage. It might not have done, but that was a hefty hit, certainly so. And now Frederick Javoy is just up that position there. So Henning Haig and Satterhaug, they're now battling pretty closely as it stands. Simon Dodd's also there as well, let's not forget. Could this be possibly, I wonder if this is going to be something that Frederick Javoy needs. Is he going to use this to try and... Well, if Satterhaug can get held up, then that's going to obviously bring the times down a little bit, which is obviously going to help Frederick Joy's corner. Again, don't know. We'll have to see. A couple more positions coming in. One of which is actually no, tell a lie. Sorry, it was just people passing Werner S. Kjellberg pressuring the back of Ethan Bass at the moment as he decided that he wants to make the move. He has indeed. He's decided that this is the opportunity where he wants to try and make it down into the first chicane. Nothing as of yet there, but is he going to try and get the cutback once again? No, he gets forced around the outside. How close do you want it to be? I really don't know how close that was, but I don't think I want to know. Up the inside, that's a brave send. Has he got it done? Oh, no, there's a bit of a touch. Manages to keep it. What a save there from Kellberg. Bass as well did the honourable thing of backing out of that overtake, which would have happened. Oh, wow, that was close. That was very close. Joachim Code has had a moment as well. That's opened the door for Cody Bryden. He's now got up the inside. So that move is now done and dusted. But Ethan Bass coming back, going through Piratella on Alban Kellberg. He goes through. They're going to be side by side down into Aqua Minerali, number 1 and 2. No, they are not, because Kellberg has the drive and manages to carry the speed through Piratella. And he now goes through and once again retakes that lead. Oh my goodness, what on earth happened there? Here's the move actually for Droid. Droid's just got the inside of Werner S, so that's a crucial position there. And what he doesn't want to do now is allow the move to come, allow Werner S to come straight back on him. Ingo Lapsian, the person that he had contact with a few laps ago now, about 20 or so minutes ago now, is now right behind. So if he can get Lapsian and Werner S to battle, that's going to allow him to pull away. So a crucial position there from Frederick Devoy. Is it going to be enough?
You see, that's helpful for Droid. That's going to be a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence as well. Not only is he's probably not thinking there's a car between me and the man that took me out. He's not thinking that. He's more thinking, I still have pace. I've made an overtake. I still have pace. Can I keep this going? So that is one that he's really looking forward to. Can he hold on to it? It's Chris Chatterton, Thomas Wright having a little battle. Key to keep an eye on that car right in the background. That's Daniel Sedgley, as he's trying to hold on to his championship aspirations, but this is not going well for him. That is really wide from Chris Chatterton, and Thomas Wright is not following in the tow. I'm not sure that's going to help when it comes to fuel saving for Reiter. You can see Chatterton is really throwing that Ferrari around almost its home track, really, when you think about it here at Imola. So it's really doing well for him at the moment. You can see the gaps. Not really important. 5 seconds up to Daniel Gilding. Yes, that's not going to be helping Daniel Sedgley. You can almost see it. That's that 13 seconds between Sedgley and Cody Pry, and now there's 3 cars, between those two drivers. That's not looking good for the championship for Daniel Sedgley. It will go down to the final race at Silverstone, definitely for the championship, but we'll do for the Pro and the Pro-Am. We knew that already with the results today. But that Chris Chatterton now, he's starting to pull away from Thomas Reiter. Originally, when the BMW first came out, it was, like I said, it was a favourable car around here. It just has the right amount of turns, and like I said, you're able to take a little bit more of the curbing. But, you know, dare I say it, the Ferrari has really come out this race and just proven its worth. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised at that.
Ferrari's quick. Ferrari's got, you know, the BMW is certainly a car to, you know, to use. It's got nice balance and it does work around here, but yeah, I mean, the Ferrari is not a slow car by any stretch of the imagination. It's one of the, I know it's the new Evo obviously, but it's still one of the older platforms, even though it has been updated, and it seems to be, the update seems to be working well. Ethan Bass now straight back up the inside of Kellberg, so that is a position once again gained, and Ethan Bass now moves back up into P2. All the meanwhile, this is allowing Will Richardson, there he is now, on currently leading in the Pro Anfield, the number 44 Avanti Racing BMW, is just sort of cracking on, really, just sort of doing what he needs to do, and he's not pushing the car too aggressively, I don't think, which is exactly what he wants to do, isn't it, really? He just wants to be pootling along, trying to save a little bit of fuel if he can in the process, don't use up too much of the tyres, and so on and so forth, and he seems to be, working well. Lap times for the Pro field, especially between Alex Gall and Alex Bennett, are roughly, they're similar. They are similar. The gaps is starting to extend. So the gap between Gall and Bennett, you can see on the top left of your screen, is now hovering between 0.6 and 0.7 of a second. Madison, though, is only about 3.5 tenths behind. So keep an eye out for that, just to see what happens there. We are expecting Nick Madison to pit early, and there is some confirmation on that, because his last pit stop, everyone else was over 20 seconds, and Nick Madison's last stop was under 19 seconds. Actually in the pit lane, in the pit box itself. So that would indicate less fuel has been taken. I mean, arguably, it's worked. Arguably, it has indeed worked, because he has pulled up a little bit of gap, and he's been allowed to now tag on to the back of Madison Bennett and of Bennett and Gall. This may have actually allowed him to save a little bit of fuel. So maybe he won't have to spend too much time in the pits this time around. Maybe that was his theory. Either way, seems to have worked for him at this stage of the race. Could change, though. We simply don't know.
No,
Sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say it's interesting because technically the pit window's open now. We're 29 minutes, just under 29 minutes left in the race, and that's a bit of a move by El Haddad. Well, it's a bit of a send. I think both drivers just made sure they were safe there. That's very weird. I mean, you see,
both drivers were expecting it.
No, Werner S. Yeah, sorry, I don't think he was expecting it. It's one thing to expect a little move on the inside of Variante Alta, but to expect on the outside like that was a little bit interesting. So, well done for both drivers for keeping it clean. I think that's the key thing here. So, as I was saying, technically, pit window's now open. Madison is still out there. I probably would say 3 laps. We'll call it 3 laps, but Huguenot now is late send. Can he make anything here with Sean Campbell? They are side by side. There's a little bit of room on it, and I think Campbell has to give up the ghost right here, and I think he's lifting. He's lifting. He's accepted it. He is... I don't think the BMW is liking the slipstream around her at the moment, because how many BMWs have we seen gone for a move thanks to slipstream today? And at the top of my head, I'm thinking Daniel Sedgley, and that's about it. So it's not been a good day for slipstream for the BMWs. So these Lamborghinis really getting their work, and the Ferraris really getting their work out here. You can see that the Maniti driver there, Kaz Huguenot, making the move stick, and it'd be great. It'd be great for him if he can get up to P4, and gap here is 4 seconds between Huguenot and Campbell and Nick Madsen. Maybe not. Now this is Edison Manguera. I always thought it was Will Richardson there for a moment. Too much grass, and I just know that feeling. I know sometimes I question why'd you put your throttle down when you're on the grass. Sometimes you just don't know, and there is another one just going off there in the amateurs. That's the worst feeling in the world, to put some throttle down when you're on the gravel and spin the car. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Daniel Sedgley needs this. He needs this position. He needs more positions, because right now I've been talking about Cody Pride and Daniel Sedgley. Well, if the positions stay as they are, come back next week and I'll give you a free car. I'll give you a free car permutation, because let's be brutally real. Will Richardson is about to make this a free driver battle for the final race of the season. It's going to be 2006 all over again. Oh no, I don't want to relive that. Trust me. But it could be interesting. Daniel Sedgley, though, he needs this position on Thomas Reiter. Thomas Reiter is just not giving it at the moment.
No, he's not. Is he not at this stage of the race? Let's say we're coming down now. 48 minutes have gone. And then we're going to go 25 minutes will remain. And I don't know. I don't know what Sedgley's going to do again. Is he just going to play the long game, trying to get the overcut? Possibly. Again, he might even try to get the undercut. It depends. We'll have to see how that pans out. As you said, the window is open for pit stops. Depends when they come through. I've just noticed as well, Kaz Huguenot has passed Sean Campbell. Let's have a quick look at this battle, and let's have a quick look at the overtake here. Actually, no, sorry. Was this is what we saw a couple of laps ago, wasn't it? I believe, yes. Apologies. So that was where Sean Campbell sort of backed out. So incidentally, just going back to that as well, a wise decision there, I think, for Sean Campbell. You know, he did the right thing. There was no point battling, especially, I mean, Kaz Huguenot, he had such a good run. If the battle was actually going to be there, it would have held both of them up. So there's no real point in that at this stage of the race. Anyway, down in the AM category, well, the only sort of battle that we got at the moment, like I said, Dean Timms has extended his lead to 7 seconds. He's still lapping under a 43. Very, very impressive stuff indeed. The battle here between Henning Hayes, Souter Haug and Simon Dodd is still going on. I say it's a battle. I'll take that back, actually. I don't think it's a battle. Everyone's just driving around, doing what they can, running their own race. Come the pit stop, or come the... if anything, do you know what? I don't think Zouter's going to want to battle either way. Even if Simon Dodd gets by him, is he going to care? I don't really think he is, to be perfectly honest, because he's not going to want to get into a potential accident. That's not what he's going to want to do at all. At this moment in time, Frederick Joy is lapping significantly slower than both of the interests. Oh my goodness, I just had a quick look. I'm going to interrupt myself. Look at the last lap times between all of these drivers here, between Haig, Satag and Dodd.
Oh my god!
Oh, how? a 43.315, a 43.324, and then a 43.323. How close do you want it to be?
Well, if you round it, that's all of them doing a 43.32. That's if you round it. That's wow. I mean, sorry, yeah, that's you don't see that a lot of.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen the same three drivers. Like I said, when you look at a timing tower, it goes into 2/10 in Galapsian. Oh, it's just not been his day again. Losing the car. It's just not been his day. And it's almost pulling out there. Not that he can pull out, but just almost being a hindrance to the leaders there of the pros. And that is El Haddad. Is it El Haddad going a bit too wide at Piratella? I think it is, but at the same time, that was the pros. I think he was just trying to get out the way as fast as he could. Now, Sauerhow, he's not going for it. I just heard him lift there, so he won't be going for the move. Cody Pride. Now, Cody Pride's got past Kelberg. And what has happened here for Cody Pride to get by? That is interesting. Now, this changes, again, it changes everything when it comes to the champion. I'm going to have to get myself a spreadsheet or someone on my shoulder next week just updating something and telling me in my ear, because it's going to be hectic next week to go through. But if Cody Pride can stay in P3, that puts him in a really good position, because where's Daniel Sedgley? P8. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 cars between them. So again, there has been Daniel Gilding has gone for an early pit stop. So in theory, it will be 5 cars. And here comes Cody Pride into the pits. So the Pro-Ams are starting to pit. Cody Pride going early again. Huguenot and Campbell having a little bit of a battle, though, as they go around Tosa. I keep my eyes on the pit lane at the moment. Can Campbell make a move into Piratella? Putting that car really in the nice position is Huguenot there into the middle. Not going to be anywhere. He does have a little peak, does Campbell. Not going to work out for him. Now, that says to me that Campbell's looking to pit shortly. That's him trying to get that track position that we talk about a lot. If we see something like that, it's a sign that a driver is looking to come in for a pit stop in the next lap or two.
Indeed it is. As you say, the pit window is very much open. Cody Pride again opting for that early pit stop. Going for the undercut. Is he going to make it work? It's going to have to be a very, very impressive outlap. But we will have to see. Magna Yonland has had a small moment. Let's have a quick look. Here is it again. Oh, manages to. Unlike what we've seen before with a couple of drivers, obviously with heading A being one of them, there was no spin going into the wall. So the sensible thing there, I imagine what would have happened if you'd have rode on board with that, you would have gone off, lifted off, let the car settle, and then get back on the throttle nice and gradually. So that's the a nice sort of sensible rejoin. Madison in the pits. Off he goes. He now comes in the pit lane. Let's see how quick this pit stop. I imagine it's probably going to. I mean, it could be anything around maybe about the similar time actually. I wonder if it's going to be around the similar sort of pace, similar pit stop, around about sort of 18 seconds or so. Might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more. We will have to see. We're just seeing on the, you can see obviously on the left pit exit. So it was 17.18 seconds. So it was less. I wonder that I'd imagine that everyone else's pit strategy is probably going to be around, or everyone else's pit stops probably going to be around the maybe 18, well, maybe the 15 or 14, I would imagine. Maybe even a bit less than that. Depends how much fuel people have saved. What's happened to Alex? No, Alex Bennett is still there or thereabouts. The gap has extended now to 1.4 seconds. So Alex Bennett not able to really capitalise as it stands at the moment on another, or staying on the back of Alex Gal. So again, this is going to be crucial. This is going to be a very, very pivotal turning point once again in the championship, and it is very much going to go possible. Well, we are going to see it certainly going to at this moment to the last round.
We're definitely going to the last round, but it all comes down to those gaps, and we know, judging by, I'm going to knock on wood as I say this, judging by what we're seeing at the moment, one of them's going to be P1, one of them's going to be to P2, which basically throws up to whoever comes P2 will have to win next week, or get that one place ahead of the other drivers. So that's going to be very interesting. How long do they stay out is the next question. Alex Gow has just pulled away. He just put his fastest lap of the race in 1:41.6. With Bennett only doing 1:41.8 that time. They've not had lap traffic. Alex Gow will get hit a little bit by Daniel Gilding in terms of lap traffic this time around. Sean Campbell is still battling Kaz Huguenot there. They still have to pit. And you can just see that Campbell is battling and just trying to find, I wouldn't say trying to find any way, he's just trying to find just a mistake. He's starting to ask the question. Will Richardson, as you can just see, going into the pits, wait to see what he does. Campbell's just trying to find those questions now, but I don't think he's got that run that he had a couple laps ago. So maybe that idea has just started to just, you know, go to the back of his head, and he's starting to think of other things. Maybe just look for pit stops now. So he's just going to be holding on. But definitely he can go an extra lap because he's been behind Huguenot for quite a while. He also had to battle Madison earlier on. He had to do some other battling. So he does have some fuel saving. That is pretty interesting to see. I'm keeping my eyes as well on the leaders. Alex Gall hasn't got past Daniel Gilding at the moment. I said that with that lap traffic. In fact, there you go right now. Haven't got past, isn't too worried. The gap hasn't really changed. But that's... maybe he's going into the pit. I'm not sure. You know, it's a guessing game. We know they've got to come into the pit soon. There's 18 minutes left in the race. Neither of them going to the pit, but this is pretty good for Alex Gall because Daniel Gilding will be giving him a tow. And I think that's the best thing he wants right now. I doubt, and there's a lap car. He's going to go 3 wide just a little bit there. That's a little bit of a nerve-wracking moment there as Thomas Reiter comes out behind them, but there you go. He does get a little bit of slipstream, and that is going to be perfect for him because now that gap at the start of the straight was 1.1, 1.2. It's now almost 1.5. Look at the power of the slipstream down that start-finish straight. It's just madness.
It certainly is, yes. Absolute madness. A couple of other people are coming into the pits now. Some of the Pro-Ams and also the Am drivers. Cody Pride is down into 6th place as it stands, although we have had Chris Chatterton, Daniel Sedgley, neither of them has pitted yet. Augusto Cassiami has had a moment. What has happened? Oh, that's not good at all. Well, I tell you what, how on earth did that happen? I possibly go a bit too much curb on the entry into the chicane, possibly. I mean, that's sort of, well, that's certainly dropped Cassiami down, obviously. So Stuart Reynolds is going to be making the move.
The grass.
Is it clip the grass?
Ah. Clip the grass, yeah. We may just see it now in the replay, yeah. There you go.
So clipping the grass on the... oh, dear. Oh, whoa, okay. That was close. I tell you what, someone needs to do the lottery when they finish this race, don't they? Oh, my word. I don't even know who that was. It was one of the... could that have been Dean Timms, possibly? It was one of the Eclipse Racing cars.
Dodd. It was
Simon Dodd. We need to have a look at that from... we need to have a look at that from Simon Dodd's perspective, don't we, on board? We absolutely need to. Let's just have a quick look at this. This is Simon Dodd. So he comes out of the pit lane. And again, obviously he's on cold tyres, bear in mind, at the moment as well. And you just have a quick look in the rearview mirror. If you can see in the rearview camera... no, actually, no, it would have been. It would have been Dean Timms.
I apologise. I just saw him close on the relatives. I thought that would have been here, but here he goes.
So you can see him coming down, and I tell you what, Dean Timms saw that from an absolute mile off, didn't he? That was one of the best evasive driving. He didn't even do much. Like, he just sort of like sat there and just went, oh, I probably should just like not do much here. Wait for him to pass, then cracked on. That was some of the like the most calm, collected, just avoidance of any that I've ever seen. That was absolutely fantastic. He just made it look so effortless. Almost like he was telepathically, he just knew that it was going to come as he came on the pit exit or something.
Like I said, you said buy a lottery ticket. Unfortunately, the lottery's gone tonight, but whenever the next lottery is, go and buy it, and can we get a share? Because I think we just told you to buy one after that luck. Now, Pro Field. Alex Bennett has pitted, and it's all up to Alex Gall right now. He will be the next one to make a pit stop. So he goes once again +1, and that will put in the last pro driver to pit. And actually, just looking at it outside of a couple amateurs, I think he'll be the last one to pit. In comes Alex Gall. As we're watching Huguenot right now, he's managed to pull away a little bit from Nick Madsen, but Nick Madsen now is just out there. That short long run that Madsen had, it's not worked out for him at the moment, but does he have the pace? Can he get past Huguenot? It'll be interesting to see. This is Alex Bennett. Alex Gall is getting into his pit box. That's a spinner, and that's a good one to keep it there. Alex Gall's in his pit box now. Now let's see how much he puts on. He will be able to get lap less, and you think about that, that could be a second. He had a 1.5 second lead, and he starts to roll out of the box. And you know what? I don't even see Alex Bennett on his relative. This could be Alex Gao just leading this way out now. He's at the cone now. It's going to be close. It is going to be close now as he starts to pull by. Alex Bennett now is crossing the start-finish line. Does Alex Gao have this? He has it by a lot. 4 seconds. But Gao is just getting held up from a lap car there, and he's going to lose a couple tenths. But Alex Gao gains 2 seconds in the pits. Well, not in the pit, but just by that pace there. Alex Gao's on another level at the moment there. I don't think Alex Bennett has got any response now. Overcoming 3 seconds with 13 minutes to go. I mean, he needs a little bit of a miracle, if you ask me.
It would be impressive, wouldn't it? But again, yeah, it's something that it might happen. You simply don't know, and again, we simply do not know. We cannot say anything just yet, and I'm not going to say anything until it all comes up at the end of the race. But yeah, like you said, we just don't know at this moment in time. The battle still, though, Cass Huguenot, Nick Madison, and Sean Campbell. This is the battle for P3. Cass Huguenot has got about half a second on Nick Madison, who has got about 4 tenths to half a second on Sean Campbell. So neck and neck from all 3 drivers here as it stands. But again, that could very well change, depending on how these final few laps go. Less than 15 minutes remaining now, bear in mind. So another 7 or 8 laps, and then we will be coming down to see who is the race winner for round 9 in all 3 respective series and classes here. Dan Gilding is still heavily on the back of Thomas Reiter, but no move has been made as of yet. I don't know. Actually, I've just seen that. Is that working code has passed Ethan Bass? Yes, it is. Where? What happened to Ethan Bass? Oh no, Ethan Bass, the Ford, is actually. Oh, is it? A little bit too aggressive on the curbs. That is a big shame there for Ethan Bass. I mean, to be fair, loses minimal time. In to be perfectly honest, he could have lost a lot more time than what he did. Actually, he kept his foot in it, kept it going, and got the rotation at the right point. So good stuff there. Cass Huguenot has had a bit of a moment, though. This has left Nick Madsen for the door going into the second chicane. Is he going to do it? I think he's done it. Oh, what a move there from Nick Madsen. And arguably, Sean Campbell runs on the grass to try and get up. Sean Campbell now goes for the inside. So Cass Huguenot has now lost 2 positions in the space of 2 different corners, but he's got a good drive. He's going to try and come back now. Sean Campbell closes the door, squeezes him off. The BMW's got some good pace, though, isn't it? Wow, that had a good amount of drive. Cass Huguenot has a look for the outside into Piratella, decides against it. They both go wide. That was a bit of contact. That must have been a bit of contact. Yes, because Cass Huguenot backed out of that. Nick Madsen's just gone, see you later, chaps. He's just gone, thank you very much. Off he goes. Absolutely no drama for Nick Madsen, but what a move there. Sean Campbell and Nick Madsen, both very, very good moves indeed.
We're just going to see Daniel Gilding and Thomas Wright have a little bit of a battle. We'll get back to that, Campbell, because that was on the grass, and yet Gilding does not go for this. That was on the grass! I mean, I can still see, I'm just watching other people go by there, you can still see the tyre marks. And you may see it very shortly when these two come by. You can still see the tyre marks of Sean Campbell going on the grass. It's not a lot, but he had to try and get that, and can you just see it? You just see a little bit of the edge there of him going over the grass, and he just made it. That's a late move from Daniel Gilding. That was never going to work, and that is unfortunate. Now, it also says Dean Timms has just overtaken Sauerhaug, and I believe that is true. Yet he has managed to keep on there as well. That timing tower is right. Remember, if it's yellow, it's less than a second. If it's orange, it's less than half a second. And we are seeing at this stage of the race a lot of orange. We've seen that in the battle for the amateurs. We're seeing it at the back here at the pro-ams. Also, keep an eye out there. We haven't talked about it. That is, where is Cody Fry? He's P3. Where is Daniel Stedgley? He's P7. Where's Will Richardson? He's only P2. He really could have used a victory here tonight in the pro-ams. Will Richardson is hoping that he can get past Kjellberg. But again, there's less than 10 minutes remaining in all these battles right now. Everything is up for grabs. No position is safe at the moment. 9.5 minutes to go. I mean, I'm liking this little battle right here, but it's just going to get close everywhere you look right now.
It is indeed very, very true. One of the bastards as well. What has happened? Yeah, and Aston, he's had a moment. So has Sean Campbell. So is Frederick Devoy. Oh, wow. Just have a look at the replays here, and there's been about 5 or 6 different ones. Let's have a quick look. There is Frederick Devoy, who's gone off. Oh, manages to keep it all in check though, but could have been could have been a hell of a lot worse. Asho El Haddad has had also a moment. This is going down. Oh, that was a bit of a snap. Wow, don't expect the BM to do that. The Mercedes to do that. That's quite. I'm not too sure why that's happened. Sean Campbell got a tap. Oh, that was the tap earlier on. Sorry, yeah, that'd be why. So that was Sean Campbell. Johan Assen. This is Johan Assen's move. Is it just a little bit too aggressive on the power? Didn't open the steering wheel early enough. And that has cost quite a significant amount of time. A good sort of 15, 16 seconds, probably even more than that. Johan Assen, I don't know if he's stalled the car or something, but there's no movement there. And finally, there it goes. Yeah, it's a good 20 seconds cost. Ethan Bass has had another moment. This is going through to... Oh, chicane. Manages to keep it just about going. Oh, that is... Wow. It's all just kicked off. There's another 2 replays we've got to look at. Ryan Hamilton's had another moment. That's going through down into the second to last corner, possibly by the looks of it, as we can see. Just have a quick look. Yep, second to last corner. And then Teja Satahab. Oh, Satahaw's had a moment. What's happened to Satahab? He's got... Oh!
No!
What on earth? Oh my goodness. Importantly, though, look at the gap still. Satahab is still 7 seconds ahead of Frederick Devoy. Now, provisionally, no, he hasn't won the championship, I don't think. Or has he?
Well, it's gonna be at the moment. He could afford not to turn up for the final race, and it would go to count back. But then again, you're looking at points, and the bonus points is not in his favor. Remember, he needs to get two positions up at the moment. Bonus points are not counted yet. He would need to get 2 positions, not 1 position. It would go to the final race of the season. And just look at this again with Stauhaugen. Did they turn in too early? Did Stauhaugen not turn in?
Satah turned out. Satah turned out.
That's just...
Unfortunately, looking at it here, if we have a look at it again...
Oh, you can see, yeah.
He just turns right when he shouldn't have done. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I think Satah was at fault there.
But there's no reason to go for it either.
No, I know.
That's the weird one.
No, I know. Or whether it's I'm trying to think as well. Whether it's a possible defence, I think it might have been Simon Dodd trying to make the move. And I mean, fair play trying to go on the outside. It was never going to work in a million years, I don't think. But yeah, Satah he just drifted right, which I don't think it wasn't the just wasn't optimal there. And in turn, obviously that cost Satah. If anything, what you would have done at that point, you would have just backed off completely. And let them move. I mean, arguably, though, Frederick Devoy has got past Inge Lapsian, so I think either way, if Simon Dodd... I can sort of now see why he was trying to keep Simon Dodd at bay, because that is the position that would have kept him. But I don't know, actually. Maybe I would have done the same as Satah, to be fair. Maybe that's what I would have done, actually, to be honest. I probably would have battled if I could have done. It just, unfortunately, it just didn't go in the favour of Satah at that point. Arguably, though, Frederick Devoy... Well, if he was any close, I mean, the gap is 6.2 seconds. If there was, again, like that was... Satah is lucky. I think that's the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go, and you may have just heard me have a little bit of a wince. This battle in the Pro-Ams has just got electric. They were so close together, and then coming out of turn 1, coming out of Tamburello, a little bit of a slide from Will Richardson. He went over the sausage. We may get a replay shortly, and in reaction, he lost all the speed. And Cody Pride went into the back of him, and you might see a little bit of cosmetic damage. Not a lot of damage, but they're still battling. Will Richardson has lost that chance on the back of Campbell with 5 minutes to go. But these two are battling for P2. Again, if you look at this, if Cody Pride gets this could almost put him in the lead of the championship. Again, Will Richardson gets ahead like this, he's back in it. He was in it, but this is almost like the Kimi Raikkonen back when the McLarens, if you remember that, I don't want to talk about it. It's back in those days. It could be a free car battle at the end of the championship, even with Will Richardson having a little bit of a dark horse moment. He can do it, and these two are now battling for what could be a very crucial position. Kjellberg at the moment, knock on wood, is in a prime position after that little mistake from Richardson last lap of taking the win once again. Question now is, where does Pride and Richardson go? And again, you look at this, Cody Pride sitting P3. Daniel Sedgley is all the way down in what's that, 4th, 5th, 6th, that's 8th position. We're definitely going to have some very interesting permutation for the final race at Silverstone for these Pro-Ams. I know we talk about how close the Pros is. All of a sudden, the Pro-Am is just going to be the biggest battle here. And a slide from Will Richardson, because Sex does get by, but that means that Cody Pride cannot make a move here. With 4 minutes left, we're looking at 44 laps. They're on lap 41. Oh, we've got to do this for 3 more laps? Wow, this is going to be interesting.
Certainly is very, very true. I wonder, is Cody Pride going to try and leave it? I don't know if I'd want to make the move until like the last lap, possibly. I'd try and stay behind because you know that if the move is going to be made, then all that's going to happen is the move is just going to be made again on you when you come down to the straight. This is a battle though. This is a potential move. Sean Campbell and Nick Madison, they're going toe-to-toe. Nick Madison up the inside of Sean Campbell, and that is going to be the position sorted as it stands at the moment. Actually, no, sorry, it was Sean Campbell trying to go up the inside of Nick Madison, and Sean Campbell slots in, going down into the second chicane for what could be the third after this there'll be possibly 2 more times that they will go through, so only 2 more opportunities now for a potential overtake going into the second chicane. Nothing there as such. We know the BM is very, very fast in a straight line though. You can really see it pulling a good, that's what, a 10th just in there alone. Just up into the run going from Piratella. That was a 10th gained almost. So the BMW is so fast in a straight line. Sean Campbell has a bit of a look. Nick Madison, cuts him off. That was a bit aggressive, but not completely legal. And then Sean Campbell has to then sit behind once again. It is all kicking off now. Oh my goodness, what has happened here? Joaquin Code has had a moment. Where is this going? This is going down into the second to last corner. Oh, that's a half spin. Manages to keep it all going roughly in the right direction there, which is good. Johannesson has another moment. That's a little bit too fast going into Piratella. Just a little bit wide, so nothing major there. No harm, no foul. And once again, the battle. Still Nick Madison ahead of Sean Campbell, but for how much longer? Because Sean Campbell, there he is, looking to make a move. And I tell you what, he is fast, isn't he? He has got some good pace at the moment here. Is it going to... Whoa, it's going to be very, very close. But I'll tell you what, I think Campbell, he's got the move. I don't think Nick Madsen's going to have an answer for it, though. He's going to be very late in the brakes, which he is. Oh, wow, what a late braking maneuver there from Nick Madsen. Manages to keep it in check. This is now a battle here. Have a look at Cass Huguenot. He's only 1.8 seconds behind. He might be in a position where he might even get a P3 here. We simply don't know, because at the rate that Sean Campbell and Nick Madsen are battling, it's going to allow Cass Huguenot to catch up no end. And Cass Huguenot hasn't got anyone behind him, so he's not got to worry about it. Sean Campbell tries to go on the outside. Oh, is he going to try and do it? Oh, Nick Madsen's had a bit of a half spin. Manages to keep it going, though. Cass Huguenot, he's now at less than a second behind. I mean, Sean Campbell, fair play. He gave him the space.
Great. We're about to see a lead change in the Pro-Ams. It is Cody Pride has got the run. It's been a hellacious couple laps in the Pro-Ams. He got past Will Richardson out of Variante Outer. Owen Kelberg got held up by a spinner at Rabatza 2. And all of a sudden, Cody Pride's been looking at this for a couple laps now. And he's finally made the move down into Tamburello. He's managed to get that lead. So Cody Pride from the back of the field once again. I can't believe that. He has made it up there. And now, Daniel Gilding, Thomas Reiter, they're going back and back again. Reiter holds on to the outside, the defense around the outside. It is all kicking off. Where is the leader? It's going to think you'll find with 20 seconds left. We're going around for one more time. The white flag goes. They're starting the final lap. Alex Gow at the 1.7. And that says to me, that gap has been going down. I reckon Alex Gow is fuel saving right now, because there is no rhyme or reason why he would start lifting right now unless he knew he was going to be a little bit low on fuel. The clock ticks to 0. We are now at 1 hour and 15. This is it. Alex Gow, he has a nice little clean look. We've got to keep looking elsewhere, though. Here is the pros. Again, this is Sean Campbell trying to defend Nick Madsen. Won't be a move here in Villeneuve. Will there be a move out into Toaster like we always talk about? Campbell will not go for that defense. Another late run from Madsen. What a dummy! Can he hold on to this dead side by side? And now, a little bit of traction there goes to the BMW, but there's an overlap. Campbell cannot cut this off, and now he finally cuts it off as they go into Piratella. He holds on to this with a lot of A lot of Fradas. Can he get onto this? Can he make a move now? Ackerman, this is going to be crucial. Is he making the move? He does not make the move. He's held on to this right now. This is the crucial bit. You're not missing anything in the lead. Alex Gao is not at the finish line yet. Do not worry. Can Nick Madsen make a move into Variante Alta? He's looking. It's going to be late. Side by side. Variante Alta, they touch. And Madsen has to lift off. And now there's a battle. No, Hugo holds on. Hugo holds on. He holds on. He decides against it. Can there be a move here? Alex Gao is going to cross the line right now. He takes the victory. That is crucial for the championship. Can Sean Campbell hold on to this? One more corner, and it'll be a fantastic P3 for the BMW driver. And on the gravel goes Nick Madsen. That could be it. Does Hugo not have a response? He does not. P3 have given us a fantastic finish. And there's still battles elsewhere.
There is indeed. Speaking of one, this is one of the battles that's going on here. Ethan Bass actually passed Daniel Sedgley for a brief moment, and then, Daniel Sedgley passed Ethan Bass, then Ethan Bass then took the position on Daniel Sedgley for a brief moment. So this is going to be one of the battles going through. Where is Cody Pride? Cody Pride is just coming down into the second to last corner. And arguably go through. What a drive, though, from Cody Pride. He's pulled 1.7 seconds off of Campbell just for good measure. So here he comes down. Oh, there's a bit of a moment on the grass, but he will be taking the race victory in the Pro-Am class. Fantastic stuff indeed. There he goes. Dean Timms has already actually crossed the finish line. I didn't realise. So Dean Timms takes the race win in the Am category, along with Henning Hayden and Simon Dodd in P2 and 3 respectively. But what is going to happen? Ethan Bass, he has got it though. Ethan Bass has got P5 locked in as it stands at the moment. And then Gilding versus Reiter. It's going to be a drag race down to the finish, but it is not going to be anything, unfortunately. And Thomas Reiter will be staying ahead of Daniel Gilding in the Pro-Am field. Oh my goodness. What a treat we were given. That was absolutely fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed that. What a battle there at the end between Campbell, Madsen and Huguenot. I thought Huguenot was going to give it a go then. I thought there was going to be a send there. I really, really did.
I wouldn't have put it past him. If that was me, I would have gone for it. Personally, I would have looked at that, probably gone for it. Maybe give it a go. You know, what have you got to lose? What have you got to lose apart from the team championship? But that is just one to go for. Also, what's crucial, like I said, we missed the amateurs because they were a lap down. Dean Timms took the win, Henning Haig P2, Simon Dodd 3, Dalahaug 4th, Droy 5th. Now, if we didn't let me just see the pro results there. If we didn't include the bonus points, we could say Stauerhaug wins the championship. But he has less bonus points. So we go to Silverstone with 5 points overall at the moment. Because remember, there was that incident. Not saying that it's going to be protested, but any protests that do go on, you lose some points on that bonus, could change everything. So all Stauerhaug needs to do next week is just finish. But pro results, you can see Alex Gao, at the end of the day, it was less than a second on Alex Bennett. I reckon he did have to save some fuel there. Sean Campbell, fantastic finish there with Nick Madsen and Kaz Huguenot, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. Stuart Reynolds would be 6th. Augusto Calasimi will be 7th, and Harry Wills had a tow and parked the car 31 laps down. It's Alvin Kelberg in the Cody Price, in the Pro-Ams, winning by a second and a half. Great run from last to first there for Cody Pry. Alvin Kelberg would take home P2. And Will Richardson, that's a crucial P3 for the championship. Joachim Koh will be 4th. Ethan Bass will be 5th. And Daniel Sedgley finally got up the order there. He took home 6th place. Chris Charlton will be 7th. Thomas Reiter will be 8th. Daniel Gilding finishes 9th. And then Ryan Hamilton finishes a lap down to the leader. And Sonny Matheson, as we saw, I think he did have some engine damage once he hit that sausage curb. And unfortunately, he had to retire the car. The amateurs, we did miss it at the end there, but it was Dean Timms' race. 3.5 seconds over Henning Haig. Then Simon Dodd in P3, and then Stauerhaug in 4th. It'd be interesting. That incident probably cost Stauerhaug winning the championship this weekend. Who knows? Frederick Droy comes home in 5th, and Ingo Lapsian will be 6th. El Haddad, some great racing there with Werner S. He comes home 7th. Werner S came home in 8th. Mangera in 9th, and Greg Gasecki will be 10th. Magbin Yolan finished in 11th, and Johan Hassan parked the car early, 4 laps down to Dean Timms. We had some fantastic racing there. It's just brilliant to just see you know, we said Imola was always going to be good. Did we think it was going to be that good? Yeah, of course we did, didn't we?
Well, it was certainly, like I said, it was certainly interesting. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, and it just doesn't disappoint. It does not disappoint in the slightest. And I think that's also, you know, Imola's great. This also really shows as well how close it's still becoming, and you know, and yes, the numbers have gotten slightly smaller within the championships, within the different classes, but it's just not detracted from the race whatsoever. And it's just absolutely fantastic to see this be able to continue, and I'm already looking forward to, you know, hopefully we're going to be running a second season of this as well, and it's just going to be fantastic to watch. I really can't wait.
I can't wait as well, and I believe we're not going to have any interviews tonight, so I think it would just be nice to just plug once again, we have the Race Anywhere Porsche Cup Series, the European and American side. That will be every Tuesday, and the first round was last night. It was some fantastic racing. There are some big names out on the grid as well, which is always good to see. So we've got to plug that because, of course, that is also here on Absolute Sim Racing. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. If you like what you see tonight, hit that thumbs up for the YouTube algorithms and hit the subscribe button. As I'm stalling for time, we do have an interview. Ethan Bass knows how to ruin a man when he's doing a nice little piece there. Ethan, our commiserations of what happened there. It looked like you were having a good time, but I think it just fell apart near the end, didn't it? And then you managed to fight back, but what could have been? I think you had a podium on the card there at one stage.
Yeah, we fell by an awkward exit of the third chicane. Just there were some bumps there and it got loose, and I couldn't save it, unfortunately.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know the GT2 and the GT3 are different, but the GT3 still has the suspension issue, does it? Or had a little bit of interesting suspension. So was that a contributing factor, or was it just the bumps?
No. I think it was the bumps. I probably messed up the exit of the chicane. There's actually, you can work around the suspension like you can any other cars. Probably a lot of the Lambo drivers were saying they were not looking forward to tonight, but I was able to work on a set and I was able to make it good. It was just one slight, maybe I got into the gutter that's on the exit of the first chicane on the low astroturfing, and it just spun it around, and sadly, and then I just kind of lost my head.
Well, you had the pace. It was very interesting to see. Once again, you put the Ford, I almost called it a Porsche there for some reason. You put the Ford on the front row once again. I mean, the pace has been, the one lap pace has been fantastic on this Ford. It has taken me by surprise. We have Silverstone as the grand finale next week. Now, I'm guessing they're kind of similar, both these tracks. Are we going to see like a similar setup to you? And are we going to see the same pace from the Ford again on the hot laps for next week?
To be fair, I'm actually surprised as much as you are when it comes to one lap pace. It's not my forte, kind of thing. So, but no, as much as I lost it and I had to only get a third, and fair play to Cody, Will, and Albin. They did brilliantly well. Albin, brilliant pit stop strategy kind of thing. He mugged me on both pit stops. First time I was able to get him under brake, and second time I did not. I completely messed it up, but that was good fun regardless of the result. I would like one win, but I don't know if it's going to happen this season. The car is capable of it. I just need to stop bottling it.
Well, Ethan, Silverstone is next. I'm sure you can do it there. Hopefully, you know, we've got fingers crossed, because I think everyone's just got a little soft spot for the Ford there. I don't know what I'm saying there. I think my word just came out wrong there. Ethan, I will just, if you've got any shout outs before we let you go, and then of course, like I said, you need to sleep in that Ford. Like I said tonight, you'll probably watch it back. I said you eat, sleep and drink that Ford, so you're probably sleeping in there tonight. So I'll just give you some shout outs before I let you go.
No, I'm not sleeping on it, though I did recently buy a model of it, so I'm going to get that painted up, because obviously it is my favourite car, and I do just literally eat, kind of live, sleep, breathe this car. Or shout outs, I want to like Tech Sense Fitstye for letting me run in the series and helping the support, and I've no doubt got a lot of people in chat watching. It was good fun from the friends. For our sponsors are Renville, Demon Tweaks, Majors Garage, Sim3D are also running the series, and you lads for Race Anywhere, Jarvis 61, Go for the Gap, and again, thanks you all for all the racing. It was good fun, and it was good fun watching the Porschers last night.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ethan. Ethan, once again, commiserations on what happened, but it's always great to see that Ford out there. Hopefully, we see a fantastic race from you next week, so we'll let you get ready. All the best, Ethan. Have a good evening.
Thanks very much. Hopefully, it'll be a good finale for the Race Anywhere series, and hopefully, I'll be back for season 2.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Well, like I said earlier, that will be it for us for tonight. And like I was saying earlier, the Race Anywhere Porsche series on next Tuesday, that promises to be fun, both America and Europe. We do have that ready for you, so you can always check the times for that. Just hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up. We're at 400. Let's go to 500. Let's keep getting that number up. So every little helps, as we always say. It's always a nice little community drive, and we can all help each other. But thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. A shout out, of course, to Race Anywhere. And a shout out to Sim3D, Go for the Gap, and as Ethan was saying, Driver 61 as well. I think, yep, that's something with Daniel. Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Next week is the finale. It promises to be fireworks at Silverstone. Who is going to be the first one to cross the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight to win the championship? It could be a tie, and they're already talking about how they're going to share the rig. They're going to split it in half. We don't want that. We want to give you a championship winner. 3 championships still to be decided. Next Wednesday, same time, Silverstone. Until then, take care and have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen.